I'm going to be showing you how to install Lowrance FishFinder in one of our Lowrance Ready products, a Hobie Mirage kayak. This is a Revolution 16, and the Revolution 16 is like a Revolution 13 Outback. They're going to be very similar in how we're going to install this FishFinder onto that boat. In your Lowrance box, you're going to find a fuse that's 3 amps and the transom slide mount that will go on your transducer, as you can see right here. Comes with a power cable. It's going to power up our unit, and a couple of instructions that you may want to read. We're installing the installation kit 3 with a 9 amp battery that's going to last all day, and a charger that'll power up our battery. Some zip ties come with it, as well as some wire crimps, our wiring, and an extra Lowrance Ready plug. You're going to need a small set of tools, a drill bit, a 3/8 inch drill bit, a screwdriver head, a power screwdriver, a screwdriver Phillips, a 3/8 wrench, some pliers with a cutting edge, and wire strippers. Then we're going to use this as an option, which is electrical tape. Starting from the bottom, we're going to take off a Lowrance Ready plate. And we're going to mount our transducer right on here. In the bag with the owner's manual, you're going to find some small parts that you're going to need for installing the transducer on that cover plate. We're going to tighten up the bracket onto the transducer. Just going to get it nice and snug. And you really want the transducer to have just a little bit of a gap between the bottom and the very bottom of the transducer, the top of the cover plate and the bottom of the transducer. Once we've ran our transducer wire through the top of the kayak, we're going to take our Lowrance Ready plug and we're going to unscrew it from the inside. And basically, you have to reach through the hatch from this boat, untwist it, and then it pulls right off, just like that. We're going to select the proper tree size rubber fitting for our transducer cable, which looks like this one right here. And the best way to check it out to see if it fits right onto that tree. We're just going to make it clean and zip tie and coil up the transducer cord that we're not going to use, the extra length. You do not want to cut your transducer cord or else you start to get failed signals. Do not cut this. Just zip tie it up. One cool thing about this Ram Mount 3 is you can take the back end right here and plug it directly into your FishFinder head unit, so it's nice and clean and small and snug. No bulky bounce anymore. This is really clean stuff. Mounting your FishFinder is going to be entirely up to your own personal preference. Right or left side or up in front. What I prefer is to use the FishFinder head mount on the right hand side so I can enter waypoints easily at a close proximity, and at the same time I can land fish on my left side, cast from my right to my left without anything being impaired. There's another option too where you can mount it right in front with the wedge mount that Ram makes. It fits right into the mast receiver. You tighten it down, it's rigid enough to where you can clamp down a FishFinder right there. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to mount my ram ball, and I want it to be clear from any of the lines that might be inside the kayak. So I'm going to guess that I'm probably clear right here, but just to make sure, I'm going to feel up inside that kayak, see if I'm clearing the lines, and if I need to, I'll take out a piece of the foam blocks that are inside the kayak just to make sure I can reach it. I just unthreaded the Lowrance Ready plug up front. I'm going to run the power wire and the transducer wire through here. So I'm going to feed the backing nut onto the transducer cable. And it's a tight squeeze, so you just got to push pretty firmly and it'll come through. We're going to take the transducer end of the cable and run it up through the top. And then take the power cable and do a couple of small things to that to make it fit properly. One way to use only one plug with both the power cable and the transducer cable is to cut the nmea cable from the power cord. And it's not really useful with the Elite series, so it's not going to harm you in any way to just cut that right off. It's primarily used for autopilot and some other small accessories like a radar, which aren't really used on a kayak. So not using this cable is really fine. Then we're going to take our gasket from our Lowrance Ready plug and run the power cable through there. And we're going to run the sonar plug through there as well. Run the power cable through the opening. And through the backing nut. And then we're going to tighten the whole thing up once we put our Lowrance Ready plug with the proper fitting. Be sure to put the fuse on your wiring. If you do not use a fuse, then it voids the warranty. I'm going to give myself enough wiring cable on this pigtail to reach the front mast post so I can mount it on my battery. So it's about right there. Cut my red and black. Then I'm going to strip that down and put these connectors right over and crimp them down. I really like these new crimps. They're silicone coated, so you run it in there. It's going to protect your wires once you crimp them. Give you a nice sealed anti-corrosive gel coming right out and covering your wires. This FishFinder is fully wired, and now we're going to plug it in and power it up onto our battery. We're going to put our battery holder in the front. And this has an option where you can either put it in the round 8-inch hatch or around the mast. But we're going to put it around the mast just for easy access. Cool thing about the battery holder is you can have your pigtail always accessible. You just lay the wires right in there, red and black, and you fit the bracket on the back when you're actually mounting it. And you'll always have your pigtail right next to your plug. All right, so I've turned on my finder and it boots up right away, so that must mean all my wiring's good. I'm ready to get back on the water. For all your information, technical-wise, just come back to Hobie USA. Lots of videos for you to check out, and stay out there and start fishing.